Got a question. It says, I know you address carb importance, but how does one get lean while training? So the research on weight loss and fat loss can be summed up pretty simply. To lose weight, you have to create a calorie deficit. And in order to maximize your weight loss quality, meaning you lose fat and not muscle, you have to have strength training plus a high protein diet. All right, it's that simple. A high protein diet generally means that the number of grams of protein per day that you're trying to get are between 2 and 2.5 times your body weight in kilograms. Or if you're obese, then you can probably use your target body weight for that calculation. Then you just have to create a deficit. In terms of the number of calories per day, you can use some type of online calculator or an app, and that'll give you an estimate at least. Then you can experiment with that, see what the results are, and adjust accordingly. Then the goal is to eventually not have to count calories, but just have a good sense of what you should eat in a day. So those are the requirements. In terms of the practical steps to get there, that can look, really different from one person to the next. So where a nutrition coach would talk to somebody about what their current habits are, current nutrition is, and just look for opportunities to take steps in a positive direction. All right, so it could just be, all right, let's have a type of coffee that's not as high in calories. Let's try to get a protein source at breakfast. Let's switch from regular soda to diet. Let's eat vegetables and protein first at dinner, so then you don't eat as much dessert, you don't have as much space for it. Let's increase water throughout the day, right? There's a lot of different steps that can help people move in a positive direction, and that's going to be a highly individual process. So that's how you get lean. Now, based on who my audience is, let's talk about how to also, be as healthy as possible and perform well athletically. So we talked about high protein diet. That leaves 3 other sources of calories, which are carbs, fat, and alcohol. So then you're going to have some form of restriction in those categories in order to control your caloric intake. The strategy I recommend for performance is 0 alcohol, low fat, and then getting the rest of your calories from carbohydrates. And that's because under normal conditions, carbohydrates are the best fuel for high intensity exercise. You can see that on this graph. By the way, maximal effort exercise is not even on this scale. It would be way to the right off the chart. Okay, so that's why you do low fat, high carb. Now, going too extreme in the low fat direction has likely problems as well. So you don't want to take that too far. A good target intake for your daily grams of fat would be body weight in kilograms times 0.8 to 1. So protein grams per day are 2 to 2.5. Fat is 0.8 to 1. And the rest of your calories come from carbohydrates. So those are some numbers. Now, practically speaking, how do you achieve this? Well, you're going to need several protein sources throughout the day. And these mostly need to be lean protein sources, meaning they don't have a lot of fat in them. So things like skinless chicken breasts and thighs, a lot of fish and other seafood is lean. Like I eat ahi tuna steaks that have 40 grams of protein and no fat, so that's awesome. Lean steaks or ground beef are an option. And protein supplements, of course, like protein shakes, most of those don't have a lot of fat. Protein bars, you got to be careful. You got to read the label. Then along with your protein sources, just try to eat lots of whole foods. So fruits, vegetables, rice, potatoes, etc. All right. Now, when it's not whole foods, you just got to look out for the calorie bombs. Calorie bombs are usually things that are really high in fat or high in sugar and fat, right? So a burger and fries, you might think I'm getting a protein and carb source, but whoops, there's like 100 grams of fat in there and the whole thing is like 1,500 calories, right? Fried foods in general, that's an issue. Pizza, same thing, ton of fat calories. Desserts, right? Ice cream, donuts, a lot of pastries. These things are super high in fat and sugar, and so ton of calories. So you really just got to know what you're eating. Honestly, I think that just getting rid of alcohol, and getting your fat intake under control would solve many, many body composition problems.